Alex stood on the old wooden porch, staring at the dusty road where Zoe's car had vanished weeks ago. Every morning, he squeezed his coffee mug and listened to the wind whisper through the pine trees. He felt empty without her laughter, echoing. In the kitchen, Zoe had left for the Mars colony, chasing a dream that seemed as distant as the red planet itself. Alex understood her drive. Humans had always reached for the stars, but his heart ached with every sunrise that she was not here. In the small town where they grew up, Alex had been known as the boy who built model rockets in his garage. Was the one who cheered when each one took flight.
Oh.
The cratered surface of Mars was her home. He watched news clips of her walking through solar greenhouses beneath a bubble dome. She smiled at the camera, full of hope and courage. Alex felt proud, but he also felt cut off from everything they once shared. Each evening, Alex opened his laptop and stared at her last message. "I miss you too." It sat waiting in his inbox, unread and unanswered. He wanted to write back, but the words tangled in his throat. How could he capture the ache of empty rooms, the silence at their dinner table, the way the dog still looked for her at the door? He tried to start a draft, "Dear Zoe," but stopped. He feared his words would sound weak compared to her bold life on Mars. At work, Alex found it hard to focus. He was a scientist at the local observatory, where he tracked asteroids and plotted trajectories. Zoe once teased him for chasing rocks, but he knew that studying those stones helped keep Earth safe. Human ingenuity made impossible tasks routine. He reminded himself that if humans could settle on Mars, he could find a way to bridge the gap between him and his sister. One night, Alex stayed late at the observatory. The dome's giant eye turned toward the sky, searching for distant worlds. He pointed the telescope at Mars's thin crescent, glowing faint red in the black sky. He remembered lying beside Zoe on this same lawn, tracing constellations and dreaming of future adventures. He whispered her name into the night. The stars offered no answer, but his chest felt lighter. He realized that distance was only physical. Shared dreams remained close. Back home, Alex pulled out an old scrap of paper where Zoe had drawn a map of their childhood favorite places: the oak tree by the lake, the swing set in Grandma's yard, the abandoned Lookout Hill. He folded the map into his wallet. In the morning, he planned to drive past each spot and record a short video message. He imagined Zoe watching under Mars's twin moons, smiling at his familiar face. Maybe his simple words would remind her that they still stood side by side no matter the miles. The next day, Alex packed his backpack with his phone, a charger, and a small recording light. He stopped first at the lake where they fished together. He set up the camera and said, "Hey Zoe, I'm here where we caught that big bass, I bet. Mars fish are different, but I remember you laughing when I nearly slipped into the water." His voice cracked, but he held it steady. He ended by saying, "I miss you, and I'm proud of you. Humans can endure anything." He moved on to the oak tree whose branches they carved their initials into. "Remember this tree? You promised to come back and see when it bloomed again? I'll keep watching the rings grow until you return." As he spoke, he felt the oak's steady strength beneath his hand, like a friend supporting him. Sent each video clip as soon as he returned home, hitting send with hopeful fingers. That evening, Alex waited by his laptop. The clock ticked past midnight. Mars time, early morning. He imagined Zoe waking under a pale sky, reaching for his messages. When the notification chimed, his heart raced. He opened a reply. "These are perfect. I feel closer to home already. Thank you, Alex. I love you." Tears filled his eyes, but he smiled. The distance between Earth and Mars vanished for a moment, bridged by shared memories and human resolve. Alex leaned back in his chair and whispered to the empty room, "We're together again." He knew challenges would come. They always did, but humanity's spirit, their HFY drive, would keep them connected. The road still stretched far beyond his porch, but he no longer felt alone. Hope glowed in his chest like a distant star, guiding him forward until Zoe returned. Alex paced his small living room. The glow of his laptop faded to black. He had read Zoe's reply over and over. Her words warmed him, but they could not fill the empty space at his side. Every night he waited by the screen, imagining the soft hiss of Mars's thin air as she opened his messages. Mr. Presence. Most when the sky turned dark and the stars shone brightest, especially Mars, a tiny red dot far away. He wanted to reach through the void and hold her hand once more. He sat at his workbench, cluttered with tools and scraps of metal. Alex was an inventor at heart. He believed that humans could solve any problem with creativity and hard work. That belief, his HFY spirit, drove him to build model rockets, starlight projectors, and now something to send a piece of Earth to Zoe. He dug through drawers until he found a small glass vial. It used to hold a moon rock sample from an old display. He cleaned it, then scooped up dark, rich soil from his backyard garden, the same garden where Zoe and he had planted sunflowers each spring. With careful fingers, he sealed the soil inside the vial, taping a tiny note around its neck. "For you, from home," he smiled as he wrote. It was simple, but he hoped it would carry warmth across the emptiness of space. Alex built a small transmitter. He wired solar panels to a compact battery, then attached a low-power radio signal booster. All went well. His gift would beam a short audio message and data file to Zoe's habitat dome on Mars. Human ingenuity, he thought, could reach even the cold expanse between worlds. The next morning, Alex placed the vial in a padded envelope with the transmitter and a letter. He dropped it off at the spaceport, where cargo shuttles lifted supplies to the Mars colony. As he handed over his package, a clerk asked, "You really think this will work?" Alex shrugged cheerfully. "Humans have done things once thought impossible. I'm hopeful." As the clerk nodded, impressed by his confidence, Alex left feeling lighter, like he had sent a piece of his heart onward. Past. Each evening, Alex returned home, checked his laptop, and stared at the empty inbox. He missed Zoe's voice, even a quiet hello. He tried to distract himself by working on new projects, assembling a telescope attachment, designing a virtual reality message deck, but his mind always drifted back to waiting. He reminded himself that hope was also part of being human. HFY spirit included patience and perseverance. Night, the screen blinked to life. A new message from Zoe arrived with an attachment labeled earthhome.pkg. Alex's heart hammered. He clicked. First, an audio file played, Zoe's voice soft with surprise. "Alex, I can't believe you sent this. Felt the soil under my fingers like sunshine. I wish I could thank you in person." Then images loaded. Zoe standing in her dome, holding a tiny green sprout growing in the earth soil, its tiny leaves stretching toward her light. Her eyes glowed with tears of joy. Alex felt his own tears fall. Zoe's message continued. "You've given me a piece of home. I've given you a piece of Mars. I wired a small sample of Martian regolith into the package you'll receive next week. Plant it alongside your sunflowers. When they grow, think of me." Her hope shone through the files. Alex smiled through his tears. He realized that even across millions of miles, humans could share life and hope. Encouraged, Alex followed Zoe's instructions. He filled small pots with the Martian regolith sample, mixed in Earth's soil, and planted sunflower seeds. Each seed felt heavier with promise. He placed the pots by his window where the sun could reach them. He spoke to them softly, as if they carried Zoe's voice. "Grow strong, little blooms, and reach for our dreams." Weeks passed. Tiny green shoots pushed through the soil, bending toward the light. Alex measured their growth each day, logging data in a spreadsheet. He imagined Zoe doing the same under the pink skies of Mars. Their shared gardening project connected them across worlds. Alex felt less alone as he watched the plants unfurl. One evening, a video call notification lit his screen. It was Zoe. She waved from inside her dome, the Martian sun casting long shadows behind her. She looked more confident than before, yet a hint of longing shone in her eyes. Alex grinned and reached toward the screen. "Look at my sunflowers," he said, holding a pot close to the camera. 2 bright yellow blooms waved gently. "They're beautiful," Zoe whispered. Just like you? They talked for hours. Zoe described her work in hydroponic labs and the new friends she had made. Alex spoke of town events and the solar eclipse his observatory would host. They laughed, remembering childhood antics. 4. A moment it felt as if they were on the same porch, under the same sky. The distance did not vanish, but the empty space between them felt smaller. Their HFY resolve human ingenuity, resilience, and hope wove a bridge of light. When the call ended, Alex sat in the silence of his room, but his heart was full. He knew tomorrow would bring more challenges, more nights of waiting and wonder, yet he felt ready. Humans had always turned longing into action, whispered to the empty air. We're closer now, Zoe. A soft breeze stirred the sunflower. Leaves. Alex smiled, eyes shining with hope. Together, they would keep reaching for each other and for the stars. Alex woke before dawn, his heart heavy with longing. The early light filtered through his curtains, painting soft stripes on the floor. He thought of Zoe on Mars, tending her garden under a pink sky. He missed her smile and her voice calling him little brother during their backyard adventures. Distance felt like a wall between them, cold and unyielding. But Alex remembered humanity's greatest strength, the power to solve hard problems with hope and creativity. He decided today he would find a new way to reach her. At his garage, Alex cleared a workbench cluttered with half-built gadgets. He opened a metal box stamped with Hobby Radio Project, took out a soldering iron. He planned to build an amateur radio transmitter that could send simple voice messages into space. If the messages reached Mars, even faintly, Zoe would hear him. He worked carefully, tinning wires and connecting circuits. Each click of his tools felt like a heartbeat linking him to her. Myers passed as he configured the antenna and tested the power. By midday, the transmitter sat ready on a folding table outside his house. Alex pointed the antenna toward the sky. He set up his phone on a tripod and opened a voice recording app, spoke slowly and clearly. Hey Zoe, it's Alex. I built this so you can hear me. I miss you every day. Your home is far, but my heart is always with you. He sent the recording through the transmitter. The small hum of electricity filled the air as radio waves pulsed outward. Alex held his breath, imagining the signal traveling millions of miles through the void. He did not know if the waves would reach the Mars colony. There was no feedback, no echo of her voice. Yet Alex felt proud. He had tried something new, turned longing into action. He remembered that humans had crossed oceans, scaled mountains, and walked on the moon. Why not send a voice across the gulf of space? His HFY spirit, his faith in human ingenuity and hope kept him steady even without immediate results. Night. Alex invited his neighbor Maya to listen in. Maya lived next door with her telescope, watching stars with him since childhood. Together, they climbed into his little radio shed, where the transmitter glowed under a soft red light. Maya adjusted the receiver dial while Alex nervously held the microphone. They waited in silence, the only sound their breathing and distant crickets. Maya squeezed Alex's shoulder. Even if she can't hear us tonight, she will know you are trying. Alex nodded, gratitude warming him. They recorded another message. Zoe, we planted the Mars soil today. The sunflowers are growing tall. I wish you saw them. They put a new marker by the oak tree for you. I hope one day we walk together under its branches again. He realized that effort itself was a gift. He had reached out, made his love visible across the stars. Over the next week, Alex worked on more plans. He designed a small booklet of their childhood drawings, spaceships, trees, and pet dogs in printed copies. He sealed them in weatherproof, sleeves with a note for Zoe's library dome. He arranged with the spaceport clerk to include the booklet in the next supply shuttle. When he handed it over, he said, "Please make sure it goes on the Mars Express." The clerk smiled. "We'll do our best." Alex beamed, proud of every step bridging Earth and Mars. One evening, as Alex watched the sun set in fiery streaks, his phone buzzed. A video file had arrived from Zoe. His hands shook as he opened it. In the footage, Zoe stood inside a greenhouse dome, holding a copy of his booklet. Her eyes shone with tears. She pointed to a drawing of the oak tree, and then to herself, nodding. Then she held up a small green sunflower bud. "Thank you," her voice echoed in his room. "Your messages reached me more than you know." "Love you, Alex." Alex pressed his hand over his heart. He felt as if the wall between them had melted. The void of space seemed less vast. Their shared efforts, radio messages, sunflowers, drawings, had woven a bridge of human spirit. He whispered into the twilight, "I hear you, Zoe." Hope pulsed inside him like a bright star. Though the road ahead was still long, Alex knew they would face it together. Humans never gave up on each other, no matter the distance. With his HFY heart, he stood under the darkening sky, certain that compassion and invention could connect any to souls on Earth, on Mars, or anywhere. Beyond, Alex woke early, feeling the weight of unanswered questions in his chest. He missed Zoe's laughter when they raced to catch fireflies in the backyard. Now at the break of dawn, his home felt too quiet. He decided he needed a new plan to reach her. Humans never stopped at first failures they invented, tried again, and kept hope alive. Alex believed he could find a way to cross the vast distance between Earth and Mars. He sat at his desk and pulled open a blank journal. Zoe once taught him that writing letters could heal the heart. He selected his favorite pen and began, "Dear Zoe, I think of you every day. I miss the way you taught me to dream with my eyes wide open. I wish I knew how to bring you closer." He wrote until tears blurred the ink.
Ow.
When he finished, he folded the letter and set it aside. Writing felt like sending a piece of his soul, even if the letter would take months to arrive. Next, Alex rummaged through his closet for something personal to send. He found the old knitted scarf Zoe made for his birthday. It was blue like Earth's sky, soft around the edges, full of her warmth. He wrapped it carefully in protective layers and tucked the letter beside it. He imagined her pulling the scarf around her neck in a cold Martian night, feeling comfort and home. Packing the parcel, Alex whispered, "May this hug you when I..." Kennedy carried the package to the spaceport, where lunar shuttles and Mars freighters lined up for launch. He stood in line, heart pounding, until it was his turn. The clerk scanned the package. "Special delivery to the Mars colony?" she asked. Alex nodded, his voice firm. "Please send this as soon as you can." The clerk smiled kindly and stamped the label. Alex felt a rush of hope. Human determination and connection had survived longer journeys than this. On his drive home, Alex thought of new ideas. If letters and parcels could bridge time, why not build something that streamed directly to Zoe's habitat? Designed for a memory projector, a device that stored photos and sounds, then played them in a loop inside her living dome. He imagined her stepping into a small booth and seeing holograms of their childhood, climbing trees, painting rocks, flying kites. He knew the device would take time to build, but it was another way to share their lives. That evening, Alex turned on his soldering iron. He worked by the glow of his desk lamp, cutting circuit boards and wiring tiny lights. He carved a small wooden frame to house the projector's crystals, using pliers and a file. As he worked, he hummed the tune Zoe used to whistle while gardening. Each careful movement felt like a promise. "I will not give up. I will find you." His hands ached, but he welcomed the pen. It meant progress toward closing the gap between them by night's end. Alex had a crude prototype. He tested it with a photograph of Zoe and himself standing at the oak tree. The device glowed softly, and a three-dimensional image hovered above the frame. Alex reached out. His hand passed through the light, but it felt real. The tiny miracle. If humans could master flight and land on the moon, surely they could make memories fly across space. He packed the projector prototype in a padded case, planning to send it with the next cargo shuttle. Days later, Alex stood on the porch again, watching the sky for a sign. He checked his laptop for messages. Finally, an email arrived from Zoe. "Your scarf came yesterday. I wore it all night. I almost felt you here beside me. Thank you for never giving up." His chest tightened with relief. She added, "I can't wait to see the memory projector. It sounds like a piece of magic." Alex laughed through tears. Her words were the spark he needed to keep going. He wrote back, Magic is just science we don't fully understand yet. I'll finish the projector soon. He described his progress with simple drawings. He told her he planned to send updates via the amateur radio channel they had opened. Zoe's reply came swiftly. I'll listen every night. Your voice is the best music. Alex saved her message, letting it guide him. That night, under a sky heavy with stars, Alex stood beside his antenna. He spoke into the microphone. Zoe, can you hear me? I'm building something special for you. I'll bring our memories home. The radio crackled. A soft reply drifted through the static. I hear you. I believe in you. Alex's heart soared. Across millions of miles, kindness and hope reached out and touched him. He closed his eyes and whispered to the night, we are together. Always. Hope glowed in Alex's chest like a distant star. Humans had faced great challenges, but their spirit, tenacious, caring, and inventive, guided them forward. Distance mattered little when the heart refused to stay silent. Alex turned back to his workbench, determined to finish the memory projector. He would send it on the next shuttle, and soon Zoe would walk through their shared past. Till then, they would keep building bridges of light and memory, one invention at a time. Alex awoke to a soft chirp from his phone. It was a message from Zoe. I'm ready for our stargazing event. His heart leaped. They'd planned a joint star watch 3 weeks ago. Humans on Earth and colonists on Mars would look at the same sky and share views in real time. Alex felt both nervous and excited. He missed Zoe more than ever, but now they had hope and a plan to bridge millions of miles. He hurried downstairs to the living room, where a folding table held 2 telescopes. One pointed at the night sky. The other aimed at the laptop camera. He had tested the setup many times. First, he aligned the telescope's lens. Then he calibrated the video feed so viewers on Mars would see exactly what he saw. He adjusted the tripod legs and wiped the glass clean. To his side, his dog Luna tilted her head in curiosity. He patted her gently and whispered, Tonight, we reach out to the stars and to Zoe. As dusk fell, neighbors arrived on Alex's porch, carrying blankets and mugs of hot tea. Maya helped him check connections again. All set? She asked. Alex nodded, though his fingers trembled with anticipation. He typed a quick message to Zoe. We're ready on Earth, how about you? Almost immediately her reply appeared. Sleeping pods are docked. I'll join in 5 minutes. Alex smiled. Loved that humans could create sleeping pods on another planet and still care about a community-wide stargazy. When the sky turned fully dark, Alex turned on the live stream. His neighbors gathered around the laptop. On the screen, Zoe appeared in her habitat suit, framed by the dome's curved window. Behind her, the pale red dunes of Mars stretched into twilight. Alex spoke into the microphone. Hello, Zoe. We're here under the stars, and we hope you are too. Zoe waved, her gloved hand glowing in the red light. I'm here, Alex, and everyone on Mars colony is ready. His chest warmed with pride and affection. Alex looked up through his telescope. The first star to appear was Sirius, bright and unmissable. He guided the telescope slowly until the camera captured it. On the screen, Zoe's eyes widened. Beautiful, she whispered. On Mars, we see it behind our domes, but your view is perfect. Alex felt tears sting his eyes. He reached beside him and pressed Luna's soft fur. Humans can share beauty, he said softly, no matter how far. His neighbors nodded, understanding the moment's magic. They spent the next hour pointing out constellations. Alex described Orion's belt and the Pleiades. Zoe, in turn, named Martian landmarks she could see through her dome's external cameras, dusty mesas and distant volcano shadows. They laughed when Luna barked at a passing bat, mistaking it for a Martian flying creature. The neighbors chuckled, warmed by the simple joy. Alex realized that hope lived in shared moments, even when people stood worlds apart. Toward the end, Alex guided the telescope to Earth's moon, bright and familiar. He said, This is for you, Zoe. On the live stream, Zoe looked at the full moon and smiled through her helmet. I almost feel like I'm home, she said. Alex's heart swelled. He had built antennas, projectors, and radios, all with one goal: to bring her closer. In that moment, distance felt less like a barrier and more like a challenge humans could overcome. After the event, Alex and his neighbors stayed on the porch with mugs of tea and warm blankets. Alex checked his phone again. A final message from Zoe blinked in. "Thank you, Alex. You made tonight unforgettable. I feel closer to home and to you," he tapped back. "We'll do this every month, I promise." He looked up at the sky where stars glittered like distant lanterns. He felt hopeful. Humans had always persevered. They had mapped the heavens, crossed oceans, and now crossed planets with a single live stream. Late that night, Alex lay in bed, Luna curled at his feet. He thought of tomorrow Zoe's return messages, the growing sunflowers, the unfinished memory projector waiting in his garage. He knew there would be more waiting, more plans, and more nights of wondering. But humanity's spirit, tenacious, caring, and inventive, would keep him moving forward. He closed his eyes and whispered into the darkness, "Good night, Zoe." Until next month, hope glowed inside him, steady as a distant star. Alex woke to a soft chime from his tablet. Zoe's latest video message had arrived overnight. He rubbed his eyes and tapped the screen. On the tiny display, Zoe stood beside a row of solar panels, glinting under Mars's rose-tinted sky. She held up a small glass vial. "These are Martian sunflower seeds," she said, voice bright. "I sent them for your garden. Plant them with earth soil." Alex felt his chest tighten with joy. He had sent her earth seeds months ago, and now she returned the gift. Even across millions of miles, they were sharing life. After breakfast, Alex filled small pots with rich earth soil, then carefully added Zoe's Martian seeds. He followed. Her instructions: cover loosely, water gently, and give them light. He set the pots on the windowsill where sunbeams would reach them all day. Each tiny seed lay in its bed like a promise. As he worked, he remembered their childhood planting. Contessa could grow the tallest sunflower stalk before summer ended. Zoe always won, but Alex felt proud now to join her in this interplanetary tradition. He cleaned up the kitchen, then sat at his desk to write a long letter. He wanted to tell Zoe how much her gift meant. He wrote in simple words, "Dear Zoe, these seeds feel like hope in my hands. Thank you for thinking of me. I can't wait to see them grow." He added drawings of the sunrise over his porch and Luna chasing sunlight on the lawn. He folded the letter, slipped it into an envelope, and sealed it with a sticker of a sunflower they had picked last year. He knew it would take months to reach her, but he felt connected with every word. Later, Alex set aside time to work on their shared art project. Months ago, they had begun a digital collage of the night sky and childhood photos. He opened his computer and added a new layer, Zoe, laughing at their favorite comic book character. He coded simple animations so that roses and sunflowers would bloom around her face. Saved the file and compressed it into a small data package. Then he uploaded it to the amateur radio network they built. A soft beep confirmed the transmission. He whispered to the empty room, "I hope you see this, Zoe." As dusk approached, Alex stepped outside with Luna at his side. He carried a foldable chair and his tablet. He climbed a small hill behind his house, the place where they used to watch meteors together. He sat and set up the tablet on his lap, opening the live stream channel. Minutes later, Zoe appeared on the screen, swaying slightly as if on a Martian breeze. She waved, and Alex waved back. The hill was quiet, but in his chest he felt a steady pulse of excitement. They spent an hour talking. Zoe described how the Martian seeds sprouted tiny green shoots in her hydroponic garden. Alex told her about the earth seeds he just planted. They laughed about how different their soils looked, one red and dusty, the other dark and earthy. Zoe held her tablet beside a pot, showing the green tips. Alex turned his camera to his windowsill, where two pale sprouts had just broken the soil surface. They looked like children holding hands across planets. Alex's eyes filled with tears. Of happiness? After the call, Alex packed up and walked down the hill. He thought about the next gift he could send her. Maybe a small model of the solar system, or a recording of him playing her favorite song on guitar. He smiled at the thought. Humans had always found ways to connect letters, signals, and now live video across worlds. If people could send curiosity and sympathy through the void, they could share hope and love too. His HFI belief felt stronger than ever. As long as hearts reached out, distance meant nothing. That night, Alex crawled into bed with Luna curled beside him. He stared at the ceiling and planned his next day. He would write another letter, work on the prototype memory projector, and tend the sunflower sprouts. He felt full of purpose. Even though Zoe was far away, each seed, each signal, each shared moment made her presence real. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Good night, Zoe. Sleep under the same stars." A soft breeze rustled the curtains. Alex smiled, certain that hope would keep them together until they met again. Alex woke to a soft hum from his workshop. Today was the day he would finish the memory projector. He'd worked on it for weeks, soldering circuits, programming hologram sequences, and carving the wooden frame. Each evening he thought of Zoe. Stepping inside the booth and seeing memories dance before her eyes, he believed humans could turn longing into light. With careful hands, he made the final connections. The projector glowed faintly, ready for testing. He carried the device to his backyard, where the first sunflower sprouts peeked through the soil. Luna followed, tail wagging. Alex cleared a space beneath the oak tree and set the projector on a small table. He placed a photograph of him and Zoe climbing its branches when they were children. On his laptop, he opened the projector controls and selected the collage of childhood drawings and recent videos they had shared. His heart pounded with hope. If humans could cross oceans, climb mountains, and land on the moon, they could send memories across space. Back inside, he wrapped the projector in padded foam and placed it in a reinforced crate. Attached a label, "Memory Projector, Handle with Hope." Then he drove to the spaceport, where rockets roared into the sky. The launch window was tight, so he hurried to the cargo bay. The clerk from before recognized him. "You again," she smiled. "Your shipments have become the talk of the colony." Alex nodded, breathless. "This is the last piece." "Thank you." She loaded the crate onto the next Mars freighter, scheduled to launch at dawn. That night, Alex stood on his porch with Luna at his side. He looked up at the sky where Mars glowed as a tiny red dot. He whispered into the night air, "I've sent you home, Zoe." Inside, he felt both empty and full empty, because a part of him still ached for her presence. Full, because he had tried his best. Human spirit, he thought, was like a star. It burned brightest in the darkness. The next morning, Alex awoke to an email notification. Zoe had replied, "I received the projector today. I will run it tonight under the dome lights." His hands trembled as he read. In the attachment was a short video, Zoe stepping into the projector booth, her eyes wide with wonder. Holograms of their childhood played around her, sunflowers blooming, lanterns swaying, laughter echoing. Zoe's voice broke through the recording. "Alex, this is the most beautiful gift. I feel like I am home." Alex pressed his hand too, his chest, tears filling his eyes. He knew then that human determination and compassion could bridge any gap. That evening, Alex set up a live feed from the projector's output on his laptop. Neighbors gathered again on his porch, curious and supportive. Maya helped him check the connection. At the same time, a screen in Zoe's dome lit up, showing the projector feed. Alex introduced it to their friends on Earth. "This is for Zoe, for anyone who feels far from home." He pressed play. On both screens, memories bloomed in light. The oak tree under summer sun, family picnics by the lake, birthday candles, glowing in a dark room. Alex watched Zoe's face appear on the margin of the feed, smiling through tears. After the show ended, Alex typed a message in the chat window. "Thank you for believing in our dream." Zoe replied instantly, "Our dream is alive. Thank you, Alex." He closed the laptop and looked at the oak tree where their initials still stood. He placed his hand on the rough bark, feeling its steady pulse. The tree had grown with them. Rooted in the earth while reaching skyward. Humans, he thought, were much the same. Grounded in home, but reaching for distant stars. That night, Alex wrote one final letter before sleep. "Dear Zoe, the projector worked. Your laughter filled my room through the live feed. I felt you beside me. He folded the letter and placed it under his pillow. Una curled at his feet. Alex closed his eyes, imagining Zoe dreaming under Mars's twin moons, feeling safe and loved. He smiled, knowing that hope was more than a feeling. It was action, invention, and the choice to keep reaching out. As he drifted to sleep, Alex whispered into the darkness, "No matter how far, I will find you." And in his heart, he carried the glow of human spirit, tenacious, compassionate, and unafraid to chase hope across any distance.